What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-High Radio Shout and stepping in the building. I got an artist. I got a journalist. I got an executive. I got a podcaster. I got a man that does it all stepping off in the building, man. Rob Markman, what's good with it, boss?
Hey, man, what's good, man? I can't believe it looked just like it do on YouTube. When I'm at home watching it, I'm like, this is where the magic happen, man. I'm excited to be here, man. When you asked me to pull up, man,
Come on.
It mean a lot to me.
Well, you know what? I have been slick trying to get you down here for years. See, you might not recall this, but it was a birthday bash about 10 years ago. It might have been 5 to 10 years ago when I was working at the station, and I was walking up to the station. I saw you walking away, and I said, hey, man, I love your damn interviews. You said, appreciate it. I said, all right, I'll holler at you later.
Right.
But I said, I got to talk to this guy because as a journalist, okay, they're not really a lot of hip-hop journalists out here, okay? Right. People that are passionate about the craft and the art of journalism to the point to where they give good interviews and they create content and historical moments at the same time. I need you to take me to day one, though, Rob. Right. What was it that made you say, you know what, journalism is going to be my way to fulfilling my goals, dreams, and destinies?
Yeah, it kind of just happened for me. I mean, really, it was just about hip hop. Like, I was so passionate about the music coming up. You know, I did a little bit of everything. Like, probably wrote my first rap when I was 12 years old. By the time I was 15, I had 2 turntables, 8 crates of records. I'm trying to figure out this DJ thing.
Come on.
And this vinyl, you know, making mixtapes that just didn't sound right. My blends wasn't right. Like, my transitions wasn't good. You know, by the time I'm 17, 18, me and my friends chipped in $250 a piece, bought an MPC.
Okay.
And every week it would spend a week at somebody's house. So now I'm trying to make beats. It was just really, really trying to find my way in this hip hop thing. I was so passionate about it, so I tried a little bit of everything before something worked. And you know, the journalism thing just kind of found me. You know, I was a media major.
That's right.
Media studies major in college. I was always fascinated by media, but I didn't think that I could make a career out of this. I knew I couldn't quite fit. Or I couldn't see myself fitting like in the New York Times, like being more of a button-up journalist. And I loved hip hop, but I didn't think there was any longevity in it. But it started. I graduated college, and a friend of mine by the name of Tim Hotep gave me my first assignment to review a Jadakiss album for Complex Magazine in 2004.
My God.
So I'm actually coming up on the 20th year of me being a journalist. But the short answer is it started in print.
Okay.
You know, and you know, this was a friend of mine who was a friend, plus we went to school, so he knew I could write. He knew, you know, I get A's on my papers. I was a bad math student.
Come on.
When it was English and journalism and stuff, I could write.
That's when the A's came in.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So he knew I could write, and he wanted to give me a shot, I guess, and put me on, and he gave me a Jadakiss album review, and right there, I was like, oh, okay. So they sent me to Yonkers. They put me in a car, like a black car service, sent me to Yonkers. And Jadakiss himself played me the album. This was Jadakiss' second album, came out in 2004, and then the car took me back home. And for me, I was like, low key, I'd have done it for free.
Exactly.
I'm like, I get to hear the new Kiss album for anybody, and y'all gonna pay me?
Come on now.
Let's go. So once I got my first taste of that, and my foot was in the door, I'm like, all right, they're gonna have to take me out on a stretcher to get me out of here. So, you know, it's just building from there, but print journalism where it started.
With that being said, how you feel about the evolution of print journalism right now with the advent of AI? How much longer do we have? Is it going to revolutionize it or is it going to ruin it?
Nah, it's terrible. I think I'm not with it. First of all, I think print journalism is when I talk about print, I mean just magazines. So this is even before the internet kind of took over. Print has been in a bad place. I think it'll become niche. I think there's still an audience out there who wants well-written, well-reported, edited stories, fact checks.
Quality.
Yeah, just the quality of it. I think the majority of the audience can't really discern the difference between a real quality story and because right now we're just reading headlines. Most people get their news from the headline or from the social media post and aren't diving deeper, at least in how it goes in hip-hop.
Yeah.
I think AI is a dope technology. I think AI is here to stay. I think you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Facts.
But I think there's going to be a lot of misuse. And there's currently a lot of misuse before we figure out how we really should be using it.
I feel that. So now when it came to journalism early on for you, who were some of the main people that you were able to interview that you grew up listening to and you were like, okay, I made it right now. This is making me happy. I'm enjoying my career. And then also, how long did it take for you to be able to make a living off of it at the same time, too? Because that's a real journey as well.
Yeah. So I started in 2004, graduated college. All the way through college, I had a mailroom job, so I worked in the mailroom.
Yeah.
And then I added writing, and it was freelance. So $300 here, $400 there. You know, I was building a name for myself. It took me till about, from 2004, probably 2007, I got my first full-time job at the magazine. So 3 years of paying dues, I got my first full-time job at Scratch Magazine, which was the sister magazine to XXL.
Okay.
But I was still only making $35,000 a year with a kid and one on the way. So I don't know if we could call that, like, at that point in my career, like, making a living. But that's when it became apparent, okay, I could figure this out. It took a couple years going from Scratch to XXL to MTV to really be like, oh, okay, I could actually pay my bills and feed my family with this. So it took a little bit.
When you touched down at MTV, though, man, what was that transition going from print to television?
Well, see, when I went to MTV, it was for MTVnews.com, and I went to be their hip hop editor for online. So the transition for me was print to digital, and it was excellent. It came at the right time because print was dying. If you remember, you know, if you go back to magazines, XXL magazine, Source magazine used to be thick.
Facts.
You could tell about how much money a magazine is making, the health of a magazine, by the amount of ads. It might have been a little annoying, but you remember you had to go through 20 ads before you got to the first piece of content in the magazine. But that means that magazine was making money.
Facts.
So me being at XXL at the time, every month the magazine getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And, you know, Vibe had folded at that time and came back and folded, and the Source wasn't doing so well. So I'm like, damn, it ain't really much of a future in print. And when MTV came and it was shifting to digital, I'm like, oh, this came at the right time, so I'm with it.
Exactly.
And it was a dope transition. MTV hired me to write 4 news stories a day. That was my thing. They was like, yo, we need you to write 4 news stories a day.
Yeah.
I was averaging 7 a day, sometimes 8, because I had developed the muscle and the skill through print. I'm like, yo, I could just bang these out.
Exactly.
Some of it was original reporting. Some of it was re-reporting what was going on. Some of it was, you know, it was a lot of, you know, calling police stations, getting police reports, you know, when the drama happened or something.
Getting real.
Yeah. Like when I was at MTV, and I still have it in my phone, like when we talk about fact checking and stuff like that, I had the phone number to every PIO. It's called the PIO. It's the Police Information Officer in every city. So I had one in Miami. I had the one in New York. I had the one in LA. Yeah. So if something goes down, it's like, yo, like when I was at him, I wasn't reporting off of TMZ. Sometimes TMZ really breaks the story.
Yeah.
Now I'm calling the police station myself. I'm calling lawyers. Yo, what's going on? What's the thing? To do like real deal reporting. So yeah, I was over at MTV Digital, and then I met Sway Calloway.
Come on now.
Who told me, hey man, you're gonna get a shot to be on camera. He's like, I can't tell you when and I can't tell you how, but I see it. You gonna get a shot. Just be ready. And then the TV thing happened. It was almost by happenstance. That wasn't part of my plan, but shout out to Sway and Ramon Dukes. Like they seen it in me and they kind of primed me and prepped me for being on camera.
Sway is another one of those goats when it comes to journalism in general, okay?
Yeah, the GOAT, the GOATest.
Exactly, the GOAT.
Number one.
You know, what was it like? A lot
of controversy about that right now.
What?
Listen. But come on.
Well, now you better give it to Sway, okay?
Yeah.
You got to give it to Sway. That's why, you know what, see now, we got to switch. This is how I feel. I give Charlemagne, I'm going to give him the number 23.
Right.
But then Sway, I want to give him a Dr. J, but that's not enough for Sway. He's kind of like a
He might be the Bill Russell, man.
Yeah,
he
and
might
that's
be
why I was thinking of Bill Russell, but then I didn't want to go that far back with Bill. But you see what I'm saying? But you got to give him the Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Okay. Rob, I mean, you coming in there now.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to go.
No slouch.
We got to go Kobe. We got to go Kobe LeBron. We got to put you in that damn conversation because you've been there the whole time.
Me and Bron got the same birthday, so I'm comfortable.
LeBron.
Yeah, my Capricorn brother LeBron James. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with LeBron James.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Because when it comes to this hip hop journalism, there are only a few people that have actually got down and dirty and delivered the news that we all needed. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you linked up with Sway, what kind of game and information did you get from him during, y'all early conversations?
It was a lot of, some of it was through conversation. One of the biggest jewels that he gave me early on was, he said, man, when that camera hits you, he said, man, that camera changes people. I seen people change as soon as them camera lights come on.
That's real.
He said, who you are is enough. Don't change for that camera.
Come on now.
Be yourself, and you're gonna go far. That was one of the biggest jewels. Other than that, it was a lot of just watching, seeing how he operated, and it was confirmation. I said, oh, because you hear about just in music and media that you got to be slimy, you got to be cutthroat, you got to be. And I watched Sway, and he didn't exhibit any of those qualities. I'm like, oh, this is a good, genuine guy who has a lot of light and shines a lot of light on people. Like I done seen Sway walking with him through Times Square. If you're in New York, the MTV office and the Sirius XM office where he does his radio show is about six blocks away from each other. So we would just walk it. He would walk it. After he done with MTV, he would walk to Sirius. I see him walk, he'll stop and shake every hand. That's right. Up and coming rappers, he'll take CDs. Yeah. I done seen him take rappers off the street, bring them into the studio. Yo, spit a verse. I see him treat the up and coming guy or woman with the same reverence and respect that he would treat a Nas. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I said, okay, this was the confirmation. So it's just be genuine, be passionate, and know that this light that we commandeer isn't just for ourselves.
When that television light hit your face, though, Rob, what did that do for you, man?
Oh, it froze me up, dog. Like, I remember I did my first on-camera interview at MTV was with Lil B. Okay. I remember this, and everybody congratulated me. Even MTV, oh my God, it was so great. You did amazing. It was amazing. Da 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 da. Shout out to Lil B. And Sway let me have that. And Sway was like, all right. 2 days passed. And he said, how you feel? You feel good? You getting a lot of love? I was like, yeah, man. He was like, yeah, that was good. Now let me tell you everything you did wrong. Oh. And it wasn't from a hateful, and for me, I'm like, all right, class. Like, go ahead now, let's go. Yeah. Because everybody was telling me, I think, what I wanted to hear. Sway was like, look, man, your posture was wrong. You were slouched in the seat. Yeah. If you're slouched and your posture is wrong and you're talking with a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, and it doesn't inspire the person that you're talking with to give you back that same energy. You got to fix your posture. You got to do this. You got to do that. And he gave me the jewels and broke it down. So I was like, oh, there's a guy who's invested in making me better. Another interview that I did, it was hard at first being on camera and have everybody see you. We used to have this show called Rap Fix Live.
I remember that.
It was a live show. This one was a pre-tape though. I don't know what happened. This goes back to Sway saying, hey, you're going to get an opportunity. I don't know when, I don't know where. This day we had Our Future coming up. Earl Sweatshirt had just, you remember, early in Our Future's career, Earl Sweatshirt was sent away to a school, like a boarding school or something, and nobody knew where Earl was. And this is when Earl first came back and rejoined the group, and they were coming to MTV to sit with Sway, and Sway called me about a half hour before the show. I'm feeling a little sick. It's on you today.
My God.
I was like, what? So for whatever reason, Sway passed the baton to me. And Our Future is very disruptive. Yeah. And at that point early in the career, I had interviewed Tyler a couple of times. I felt like I was building a rapport. The camera was off. Yeah. It was fine. Hey, man, how you doing? It was all love. Man, that camera came on. Them boys chewed me the fuck up. Like, it was serious? It was just like, it wasn't like in a mean way, but the character came on. If you remember what Our Future was about, especially early on, it was very disruptive. It was very counterculture. It was very like, so I'm sitting here ready to do a serious interview. Like I'm like, this is big. Earl is back. Like, oh, we gonna get into everything. Yeah. And they weren't willing to take it so serious. Earl was there, Sid was there, Left Brain was there. Tyler, like the only one who wasn't there was Frank Ocean. Yeah. Domo Genesis was there, so it was like a big opportunity, but I prepared for it one way and it turned another way. So I learned a big lesson that day too.
Now I got to go to Right to Dream, sir. First of all, the play on words is magnificent. I mean, it encapsulates the whole goal from beginning to end. Okay, Right to Dream. First of all, we got a right to dream. That's number one. Right. Okay, let's just start with that. We got a damn right to dream. Right. But in your case, you had to write to get to your damn dream. Right. Break it down to me, Rob.
Yeah.
First of all, how the hell did you come up with that? And what was it that made you say, you know what, at this point in my career, it's time for me to give it to him?
Yeah, well, like I said before, I always rap. Like I came up rapping, wrote my first rhyme at 12. I used to go to battles when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. My first studio session ever, the first time I ever went in the studio. We used to record stuff in the crib, and the first time I went to a real studio, the producer and engineer was shout out to Plain Pat. If y'all know good music, you know what I'm saying? Plain Pat recorded my first song ever. It was terrible. Every time I see Pat, which is not often these days, but Pat would be like, one day I'm gonna release that and show the world. I'd be like, you better just not. But yeah, the song was terrible. So, but I always rap and I always made music. When I got in my journalism career, I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it. I was like, man, I rap, I do journalism, and I started getting feedback from more veteran hey man, you can't do both. Hey, you got to pick one. Hey, don't tell people you rap. Yo, to the point where even when I was at XXL, I was on the blogs. Like I had music on Two Dope Boys. I had music on Now Right and on Smash. This is the blog era, man. Shout out to Mecca and Shake and SK and Hoff and Legend over at On Smash and Low Key. So I had music out on the blogs, and I was working at XXL, and I was told, hey man, they about to fire you unless you cut this out, because they I guess maybe they felt it was a conflict of interest. Yeah. Me, I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I was doing what I love. Exactly. I'm not naive. I could see how it could be a conflict of interest, but it wasn't like I was trading features. Hey man, give me a feature, I'll get you in XXL. Like I had too much love and respect for journalism.
Come on now.
To do that. I can understand why they saw it that way, but I was like, man, you could have talked to me and really seen where my intention was. But I was told that I couldn't do it. So journalism was paying the money, rap wasn't. I had 2 kids.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I couldn't lose the income and hey, Dad, why the lights is out?
I gotta write the dream.
Yeah, because your daddy want to rap. Like that shit didn't make no sense. It felt selfish. Then my career builds. I get to this point where I'm in Genius in 2017, and I'm looking around.
Come on now.
And I'm like, who gonna tell me no?
Come on now.
One, the game has changed, the landscape has changed, and I had built enough credibility where I think everybody knew where my heart was at. So yeah, man, I dropped Write the Dream. Shout, rest in peace to my man Hovain.
Yes,
shout out to Charlamagne. I was on the Breakfast Club. Really what happened was, because I never stopped writing, I never stopped making music. One time I was on the Breakfast Club and Charlamagne's talking to me about my journalism career. And he was like, Rob, I love that you're an example, that you show these kids they don't have to all be rappers. You can do other things. Rob, thank God you never used to rap. And I'm on the biggest platform in the culture, the Breakfast Club.
That's
and
right.
I said, dog, I can't sit here and lie. Like, there's people who I came up with, like my sister Lisa, who's sitting right here, or my man Lou, or my man Damien, who if I say, yeah, man, I never rap, they gonna look at me like, damn, Rob, I'm lying, because he used to be a rapping ass motherfucker.
Me too, Rob.
Yeah, but I think all of us, like it's this thing where people want to act like I'm looking at you a certain way if you part of this culture and you never tried to rap.
Did.
Yeah,
come on,
like
man.
At least try it. You know what I'm saying? Like we never all had that dream. I thought we was on the same page. So C was like, nah, man. Thank God you never used to rap. And I was like, well, actually,
I got a few bars right now.
So they asked me to spit something. I spit a verse. And, it went like mini viral, man.
Yeah.
This shit go out. One of the first texts I got was from Killer Mike.
Killer Kill from the beat.
Shout out to Mike. He was like, man, I like that.
Yeah.
Keep going. A couple people gave me feedback, and my man Hovain, rest in peace, said,
yes,
he said, we could get you a deal, right? I'm like, fuck out of here. He said, Hovain, if you knew Hovain, God bless the dead, one of my best friends, but one of the best managers in the game, knew how to put plays together.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I was signed with Empire Distribution to drop my first project, Write the Dream.
How did that make you feel? Was that a full circle moment for you at that point?
Yes, like signing the contract. No, it was unceremonious, right? like it wasn't like it wasn't a big deal. So it wasn't like the long conference table and you do. It wasn't like a bunch of people. I don't recommend it to anybody, but I didn't have a lawyer or nothing. I just signed it myself. But shout out to Ghazi and Nima. It was an excellent deal. It was a fair deal. Good. It was like I didn't feel like I was being cheated or unprotected, but I signed it without a lawyer. But make sure y'all get a lawyer. Y'all make sure y'all understand what y'all signing.
Yeah.
when it hit me is when I released the project. Or really when it hit me was the first time just being from New York. My first single was called I Don't Want to Wait. And it was produced by Justice League. Shout out to Rook, like for those guys just believing in me. And it played on Hot 97. And I didn't send it. DJ Enough played it. DJ Enough just called me one day. He said, "Yo, you buy the radio, Pop?" I said, "Yeah." I could turn the radio on. He said, "Yeah, man, turn the radio on." So I was at work. I was in the Genius office, and I turned the radio on. It's 2:00 in the afternoon, and DJ Enough was playing Kendrick Lamar, DNA. It was either DNA or Humble. I forget which record it was. Forgive me, but he was playing a Kendrick Lamar record, and then right after you hit, and you hear my shit right after the Kendrick record.
Come on now.
I cried, dog. like a
I
tear.
don't blame you.
A tear came down my eye. I'm like, holy shit. And then, after that, man, doing the in-store in the Apple store and performing, and I performed at Barclays. Logic, shout out to Logic, said, "Hey man, your album out now. Come jump on the stage with me in Barclays Center." Me being from Brooklyn, my parents were there, my brother was there, my kids was there, my wife was there. So that was a full circle moment. So now you start seeing this dream become a reality.
Exactly.
So it's been a dope ride.
You know what? I can go so many damn different ways with what you just said. I mean, with that kind of being a full circle situation, where the hell do you go from there, though? You see what I'm saying?
You just keep going, like, because the goal for me is expression, right?
Yeah,
I got more, like, the music is an outlet for me to say things in the music that I'm not comfortable having conversations with. I never tried therapy. Maybe I should at some point. But there's the thing about hip hop is it's like a Morse code. Yeah. For like, we put meaning in the music that is not for everybody to get, but it's just for our community. So it's a way for me to get things off my chest, to express myself. And so for me, the thing is just to keep going. My goal is to really build a catalog. And, I got 3 albums. I'm working on my 4th one now. So I dropped Right to Dream in 2017. 2019, I dropped It's Too Late at the Wake. 2021, my last album was If You Don't, You'll Regret It. And then I'm working on my next album right now, and it's called You're Hustling, But Are You Happy? So it's just yours.
Just stop it, Rob. Because, you coming with the realest shit that you can come with.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too late at the wake.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're hustling, but are you happy?
Yeah.
I mean, 100 losses. You spoke about the SOSs earlier. I got one of those in 100 losses. And I quote, "We don't complain, we adjust. That's the difference." With that mindset,
right,
there's no way that you could ever be defeated. So,
right.
Okay. And when I heard that in that song, I said, when a man is thinking that kind of way, you just can't deal with him. You just got to get out of his way and let him work because he's going to get the job done. With 100 losses, also with that visual, you look like you had just finished fighting Mike Tyson in that thing, sir. Did the game whoop your ass that bad that when you said you know?
Yeah. That's definitely part of You're Hustling, But Are You Happy era. I did that record, and I did get my ass whooped. My brother played the other guy in the video, who my real brother Craig, who was whooping my ass, and he definitely got like a real, like, it was supposed to be fake, like movie punches.
Okay, now
he definitely caught me in the eye for real. Like, I'm like, nah, dog, I felt that one. I felt like he did it on purpose. Like, he's like, yo, I'm just gonna get one in. But that 100 losses was at a time when, because on social media, in hip hop, as rappers, we put all of our wins on display. We show all of our trophies. We show the newest car that we bought, the newest watch, the newest chain. But we might not show that debt. We might not show that we're in the red with the label.
Contracts.
You know what I'm saying? That your contract might not be good. And then you hear rappers years later, yo, I never got a check from the label. And shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's not to demean anybody. But we put all of our wins on display. And I just wanted to talk about my losses. Like here's the thing, and I've won a lot.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? But I'll take 100 losses. Like, you gonna have to put me in the dirt to get me to stop pursuing this thing. If you knock me down, I'm gonna get right back up. So that was my Rocky theme. And what happened was, I'm just gonna be honest. it was at a time, you know, everybody knows, or if you're watching this, if you don't know, but you know, I work at Genius. I was a big part of Genius and the growth of that brand, and
That's right.
and the brand was sold in 2021, and a lot of things changed, and I, you know, I was in a dark place for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, what do I do next? Where do I go? Like, you know, I was feeling the way. There was some angst. It was like, man, what's this next thing? How do I turn this negative into a positive? Because it felt like a negative to me at the time.
I feel you.
So I wrote that record at that time, so that, you know, it's 100 losses, but we ain't gonna stop, man. I take 100 losses, and a lot of rappers won't say. It's almost counterintuitive, like, because, you know, our shit is like, man, I ain't never take a loss. I ain't taking no loss. Who undefeated? Like, who for real undefeated?
Come on.
Like, it's, and whether it's battling, whether it's just in life, whether it's knuckling up.
Exactly.
Like how I learned to fight was I got my ass whooped.
Come on.
A lot. Like, growing up. Like, my sister was there. How many times I come home crying with a black eye, with a knot, whatever. Like,
come on.
But I had to get my ass whipped to learn how to give an ass whip.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the analogy there.
With that being said, though, I mean, writing, you know, physical writing and journalism is what has, you know, propelled your career so far. All the way up into executive suite, sir.
Yeah.
What was that like when you come in as a mail clerk and then you look up you're a damn executive in this thing, man?
Nah, it's dope, man. It's again, it just all comes from the love of hip hop. Like, I got a dope team that I work with over at Genius that, you know, and I'm just like grooming and giving support to others to build up, whether it's content, you know, and you know, shout out to my man Andres, who runs, you know, the content part of Genius, our verified episodes and our open mic episodes. Like, that dude is a beast. Shout out to my man Kayvon, who you know, runs our distro. And for me, from the executive side, it's more so just like, I mean, that's the part where you get to empower other people. That's the part when it's like, you know, to me, a boss, I don't even like that term boss, because it indicates something. For me, it's leadership. And it's about like putting people in positions to be great, so we could be great together. So, but you know, it's amazing to be able to sit in these meetings. It's amazing to be able to do things. You know, we're doing I work with WorldStar as well, so we have Genius Distro and WorldStar Distro, and now like signing artists. Like, a lot of people don't know, WorldStar Distro was involved, and we signed Ice Spice. So the first two singles, or not her first two singles, but Munch, which was her first really big single, and Bikini Bottom were WorldStar singles. So like, putting that deal together, helping to work that with our partners at Create Music Group. You know, shout out to Jordan, shout out to Danny, shout out to Simone. But to be a part of that, like, you know, like I think she about to get a Grammy nomination.
Come on,
you
now.
know, it's looking like this is one of the biggest records. Like, I think this is the biggest new artist in hip hop when we talk about Ice Spice since Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
And before Lil Nas X, it was Cardi B. Like, those only come around every couple of years. So to be involved in that, and you know, it was an independent deal. She, you know, is a distribution deal, so she's independent. She's a home thing, and she's with 10K now. But it was dope to be a part of that.
Exactly.
You know
when you think about just hip hop in general, and then being on the distribution side of things, man, I mean, what were the things that you learned, though? Because we're talking about journalism, but now you're talking about music distribution, sir. I mean, when you got into the distributing part of everything, what were the new talents that you discovered about yourself and the new things that you had to pick up on the fly?
Yeah, definitely got to learn the business.
Yeah.
A lot of the legal, rely a lot on legal to realize the terminology, to realize how these DSPs work.
Yeah.
To realize a good release schedule, to position yourself for success, and good marketing for sure. But that part comes with it for me, but it all comes from the passion for the music. Like, again, it got to start from a place of love. What are you in it for? I'm in it because I love this shit. I'm in it because I love it, and I want to add on to the guys that I grew up watching, the greatness that I seen them doing. I want to do greatness too. And then when my time is done, leave the game in a dope enough position for somebody else to pick up the baton and keep running. Exactly.
Come on.
So for me, that's been the easy part. Like, the stuff that I couldn't figure out, I just follow my heart. I just follow my gut. I just let my passion lead. And it's like, all right, we'll figure out the nuts and bolts of this, but we're moving in the right direction because you're moving with love and passion for the culture.
At what time during your career did you have to lean on your passion the most just to make it through? when
Currently, during that transition that I was telling you about, when when Genius was bought. There's been a couple of times in my career. There was times when I was at XXL that I wasn't very happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting the money I was supposed to get, and I wasn't getting the respect that I was supposed to get. And I'm talking about like from the team internally over there at XXL, and it got dark. It was around this time when they told me, yo, I shouldn't be rapping. I got to be doing this. I got to be doing that. And I'm over here leading with my heart, passion. I'm doing incredible work at XXL, and I didn't feel like it was being recognized. And I questioned if the game was for me. I almost quit. I was like, man, if this is it, man, I'd rather take 3 shifts at McDonald's than to deal with this bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And shout out to Daytwan Thomas, who has been a friend and a mentor for me. And he told me, he said, nah, bro, you got it. Yeah. And it's dark now, but just hang in there. Like, you just got to get over this rough patch. Just keep moving with positivity, and you're going to get where you need to be. And he talked me out of it because I was ready to quit. And I was ready to do something else with my life.
Oh, my God.
And he talked me out of it. So, yeah, it's been a couple times when it's like, man, you just got to stop and quiet all the noise and listen to your heart and keep going.
In your career, though, Rob, at what point do you feel like you were able to make the most impact to the culture?
I think with wow, that's a good question. 2 things. Well, I think with Genius, when we were creating content at Genius, that verified series, the yellow background. People don't know. Well, I'm a co-creator on that. I'm a co-creator on all the series, and not co-creator where sometimes you put your name on shit. Nah, on the ground floor, we coming up with these concepts, we building.
No, that's right.
that was a lot of people's first interviews. A lot of artists' first interviews was that yellow background. What people don't know is probably the first 100, 150 episodes, I did all those myself because we didn't have a big staff. What I'm saying is I'm doing these interviews off camera. I had realized then I don't need to be front and center. To me, it's all storytelling, whether I'm writing around, whether I'm doing an interview, whether I'm writing an article, it's all storytelling. And I'm like, there's some stories that need to be told, and I'm hoping to tell this story, but I don't need to be a part of the story. I don't need to be front and center. I could be behind the camera, and you won't know. So I did a lot of those interviews behind the camera, and creating a place with my team and an outlet for people to come and get their first interview.
Exactly.
To get to be able to really talk about their music, bar for bar, and not have to go to a lot of it was a time when everybody was following the TMZ model of journalism. So it was all about gossip and headlines and beef and drama and creating a place where people could go and be like, yo, well, I'm just going to talk about my music. I felt was huge and impactful and changed the game. And then now currently with this distro thing, I'm like, yo, I we could partner with artists. Even signing artists sounds weird because we're signing artists, but it's really partnership. All of these artists that we signed to distro are independent artists. They maintain their independence. And being able to help artists. I just have an artist now. And look, I'm an artist too, right? I'll give you an example. I'm an artist too. There's a producer. I won't shout the artist out, but I'll tell the producer, Alchemist. Right? Alchemist showed love to an artist that I'm working with recently. And I'm a big Alchemist fan. I'm out here rapping. I never asked Alchemist for a beat. I just never.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to ask when it's for me. I sure enough asked him for a beat for the artist that I'm working with. Hey, man, this artist would love to work. You see what I'm saying? So it's that thing. I feel like I'm in a position, even some of the things that's hard for me to do for myself.
Yeah.
I could do it for others.
Exactly.
So when you say where I'm having the most impact, I think it was that verified, but I think this distro thing is going to be big.
Also, during our conversation, but I noticed that kind of is a reoccurring theme in this thing is energy. And when I say energy, it takes a lot of energy to knock out those 150 initial interviews for Genius. It takes a lot of energy when they say, okay, we only want 4 articles, but guess what? I'm going to give y'all 8. Where does this energy come from, sir? Because that, I think, is the differentiator in the game. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Between good and great.
It's passion. Again, I think you gotta love it. You gotta kind of be passionate about it. But it's also a time of me remembering when nobody wanted me to work on anything. You know what I'm saying? When I was working in the mailroom, when I
feel you. Okay.
We could go back to that. I worked in the mailroom. It was for a clothing company, and they had a catalog. And I remember going to to them trying to get a job to write. If you remember ordering clothing out of a catalog, the words it wasn't rocket science. 100% cotton, denim, 5 pockets, blue, black. I was like, yo, I want to write. Can I write what's in the catalog?
Yeah.
Again, and they was like, nah, we don't. Nah, just stay. Nah, you good in the mailroom. Just stay in the mailroom. They didn't believe that I could write what was in the catalog. Like I could do. And now, so I remember that.
Come on.
And I could be back in the mailroom, or now I could be doing this. So it's like I'm not gonna stop. One, because I love it, and two, that I remember what it was like begging that somebody would give you a chance, hoping that somebody would just notice you.
Come on.
And now I got it. So, I want to rock out with it. It does get detrimental at times. Like I said, my sister's here in the background, my family definitely be like, yo, you work a lot. Like you work too much. Like, yo, again. Like, but I love it. So it's different.
Passion.
Yeah.
It's the passion.
Yeah.
But when it comes to interviewing folks, what was the interview that you felt like you learned the most in, where you was like, okay, when I talk to this person, I'm about to get some information for my damn self, damn the audience. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm always thinking about the audience though, right? So a lot of times
you are the audience.
Yeah. I think believe it or not, my Mariah Carey interview. I did a Mariah Carey interview maybe 2019.
Okay.
For Genius. And like that was for me. We did it live in front of an audience. That was the first time my mother ever seen me interview somebody. Like my mom came out, my dad came out, my wife was there, but because it's like, dog, this Mariah Carey.
Come
like,
on
we grew
now.
up listening to Mariah.
I'm with you.
In my house. So yeah, like just kind of connecting with her and figuring out her process as a songwriter. The whole interview was about her as a songwriter.
Yeah.
If you listen to Mariah, she has a vocabulary that's unmatched. She'll say mad, the emancipation of Mimi. like she'll use like crazy like words and shit. So I just wanted to get into like her head as a songwriter. So that was probably the most maybe selfish interview for me, but that was dope.
So then with that being said, has there ever been an interview that you had to get up for? Because when I say get up, you were nervous as hell before, and you were like, you know what, I better not drop the ball on this shit.
Trying to think, nervous?
And not nervous, but maybe excited. Excited. That'll be a better description.
Probably Jay-Z.
Okay.
Probably Hove, and I still I've interviewed Hove a bunch of times on MTV, red carpet style or press junket style. I'm behind the camera, so there's a lot of Jay-Z interview clips that are floating out there with the MTV thing that people don't even know that's me on the other side.
Come on now. Their marketing plan was me to continue.
For sure. But more recently, I had interviewed Jay a couple of times on Twitter Spaces. One time was with Alicia Keys when she dropped her last album, and I was cool with just interviewing Alicia Keys, and she called me the night before. She said, Hov gonna jump on, so you might want to ask some questions for him too. I was like, what? So I had a night to prepare. And then after Khaled dropped his last album, Lenny S had hit me. I shout out to Lenny S, shout out to Rock Nation, shout out to Khaled. The God Did album, Lenny S had hit me and was like, yo, Khaled's doing the Twitter Spaces. Can you help us moderate?
Yeah.
And I freestyled this. I didn't have nothing prepared. I was actually in a Zoom meeting when he hit me, and I was maybe like 5 minutes late to the Twitter Spaces. But I jumped on the Twitter Spaces. So me and Khaled just talking. Just talking our talk, and it's very comfortable. And then nobody told me, unbeknownst to me, Hov comes in the room. And this is right after this guy did. This is the verse. This is the long verse that he did at the
he
Grammys,
went crazy.
Where he went nuts. And we did an interview, and that went viral too. But that was a freestyle. I didn't know Hov was there, so every question that I asked him in that interview was off the top of the dome. I ain't have preparation for it. And then I'm trying to, at the time, because it's Khaled's album, I ain't wanted to be disrespectful to Khaled and turn it to just a Jay-Z interview. So I'm trying to juggle it. Yeah. And I know a couple of people was mad, like, why you, like, talk to Hov. Even Khaled's hitting me. He was like, nah, this a Hov interview now. I'm just like, man, I'm trying to be respectful. But that conversation with Hov was so dope, man, and I appreciate being able to him like opening up. I never, there's a lot of artists sometimes, and I don't really play this game. I know you must get it. And I don't know, everybody has to handle it, but artists will come in and they'll give you a list of questions
that you can't ask. Oh, nigga.
I'm like, once we get to that point, I'm like, hey, let's not just do the interview. and it'd be artists that just start like bro, you just came in the game 5 minutes ago.
Oh,
so I say all that to say I've never been in a space where Jay or anybody from his team was like, yo, don't ask him that. Yo, don't do this. Don't do that. Like, the dude is so confident in who he is, man. And every time I've had a conversation with Hov, it's been like super dope. I look forward to the day maybe when we could do it more structured and organized, and maybe I have time because I have so many questions.
Exactly.
But that was probably the one that I'm like, oh shit, because it happened in an instant. They was like, oh, Hov's in the room, and actually in that. LL jumped in the room too, not to be. So it was LL first. So I'm coming off of, oh shit, here's LL. I got to figure out what to ask L. And then Hov jumps in right after. I'm like, oh, so I'm freestyling the whole interview. I actually put like some of it up on my YouTube. So if you listen back to it, that's all freestyle, bro. That's like.
Okay, when you think about talking to Jay-Z, though, at the same time, I don't know if it gets any bigger than Jay-Z in hip-hop.
Right.
So when you're having a conversation with somebody that's at the very top, how do you prepare for those high-level conversations, sir?
I'll tell you when I get there, because they don't give me no prep time. It just happens. But I think you prepare for it. Again, it comes from the passion. It comes from being a fan. It comes from asking the stuff that people want to know. It comes from Jay-Z has also done 1 million interviews.
Yeah.
Like, when I really get my shot to do the sit down, I'm going to attack it in a way that nobody else had. We're going to have a conversation that you've never seen him have.
Exactly.
That's how I approach my Mariah Carey interview. Mariah has done 1,000 interviews. She told me, she was there like in front of the crowd, in front of the camera, like, you look like Mariah. Yo, it's one of the best interviews I ever had in my life.
Come on now.
Wow. Like, because I'm not looking for a head. Like, what's the conversation we're gonna have that's pertinent to this moment in time to make this shit really, really special? What
was your favorite conversation? Because I'm not gonna call them an interview.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite conversation that you ever had that was recorded, sir?
Probably in 2015, I sat with Kendrick right off of him doing the Pimp a Butterfly, and just the layers of that were in that album. The way Kendrick just layers. There was so much I wanted to know and how it connected to his real life. And again, nobody from TDE, nobody from Interscope, Kendrick, nobody said, hey, you can't ask this. Yo, don't ask that. Yo, we went so deep. Like, I don't know. If you go back and watch that interview, it was for MTV. I don't know if people remember when Kendrick dropped Black of the Berry before To Pimp a Butterfly came out.
Yeah.
He caught a lot of criticism because of what he was saying about, he says something to the effect of, and I don't want to mess up the line, but almost like, how can I be mad at police when I've done harm to people blacker than me?
Come on now.
And I think people, for all of that Kendrick that he's given us, we know his heart, we know his intention, we know in no way in that song was he saying that he is justifying what the police are doing out here. But he's pointing the mirror at himself too, like, yo, I got something I need to change. And if people remember, there was discourse on Twitter for that day, and people were accusing Kendrick of accountability politics and this and that, and he was taking some heat. In that interview, I asked him, and I spoke to him about that, and it was a real conversation, and you could see his face change and his demeanor change, and you could tell the hurt that he had at that, and the frustration, and then for him to, even through all of that controversy, it seems real small now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're years removed, but through all that controversy, for him to find the answer, for him to have that difficult or tough conversation.
Yeah.
But it's all under the guise, again, it's not me chasing the headline. It's not me looking for a reaction. It's under the guise of, yo, this is in your music. This is your creativity. The feelings that you pour into your music. Like, I super respect him for having that conversation and being so open and honest and vulnerable. And that's probably my favorite, most powerful conversation I think I've had.
Rob, I feel you when you say, you know what, it's a respect thing with everybody, okay? But has there ever been a time where you did an interview when somebody came in and said some shit that you knew that when this interview goes out, it's going to be some shit?
Yeah.
And how did you deal with that anxiety following that? Or did you just separate yourself and say, that's the job, Rob's over here?
Right. Yeah, it's been a couple of times. I think I've mostly kind of stayed controversy free, but
But it always managed to find
it finds you. You know, I think that our Future one, that interview I was telling you about, that was kind of like off the rails, and I knew when people see it, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna look good. Like I didn't look like I had control of the interview, like, and people didn't blame me, but they're like, they're being so rude. Like the tone of the interview overshadowed what we were actually talking about. I didn't like that very much.
Yeah.
One time I was interviewing Future for the show that I had on Genius called For the Record. And Future took me by surprise when this is the Wizard album, I believe. It's around the Wizard album, and we're talking about drugs, you know, and you know, he kind of admitted like, yo, well, I don't use as much drugs as people think.
Exactly, as I rap about.
Because if you he wouldn't be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's the same thing as, and it's exaggerated, the same thing I grew up listening to Mobb Deep. Rest in peace to Prodigy, shout to Havoc. Mobb Deep was killing 4.65 people on every record.
Come on, man.
Like at the end of a Mobb Deep album, there is 50 bodies. like there's no way, you know what I'm saying? So we know that rap is exaggerated, it's expression, it's an art form. But Future, I wasn't ready, and Future had admitted that to me, and then we had talked about, well, why do you do it? And he's like, well, you know, it's what the fans want to hear. And to even hear Future be that vulnerable in his conversation and be like, I too feel the pressure. I'm Future. I'm one of the GOATs.
Come on,
I've changed the game. Like, I've changed the direction and the course of this hip hop thing. People sound the way they sound now because of me.
Come on now.
So that's Future. And for him to even say, well, you know, sometimes I'm a little uneasy and unsure of what the audience wants from me and da-da-da. I wasn't ready for that, and it was a dope moment. It was a dope moment of vulnerability. I was scared when it came out because I felt like I should have pressured him more or asked like more follow-up questions.
Yeah.
And I thought I was gonna get killed. I was like, they're gonna kill me for this, for not like really following up.
In.
Yeah, but I was kind of caught off guard. But it wasn't as bad as
it felt.
Yeah, it felt like it was gonna be bad. But yeah, there's some interviews that I'm like, this is gonna be some shit. You know, when I've interviewed Pusha, you know, about the Drake stuff, right after his Daytona album, after the Infrared song. So we did it. So I knew that was gonna be some shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me trying to stir up shit. It was like, well, Pusha got a song.
I gotta do my job.
Yeah, Pusha got a song called like, how are we not gonna talk about this? You know, if it's 2001, how is Jay-Z gonna drop Takeover and you not gonna talk about you know who did you know what to you know who, but we gonna keep that between me and you? Now I'm gonna ask that question. Like it's out there. So yeah, it's been some joints, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you got me writing down new questions because I got a question in the back of my head that I gotta ask, and I was like, I gotta double back to this other question. Now I gotta stick on that Future thing. That's the one I was about to write down. This is off topic, but on topic. Who do you think birthed more artists? Future, Lil Wayne, or Jay-Z? And when I say by birth, folks took their style, emulated them, and created a whole career off of it.
Okay. I'm gonna pick one too. I'm not gonna give you the non-answer.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna pick a definitive one. And I have it in my head, but I want to preface it with this.
Come on with it.
Because whenever we do these things where we separate, when I pick one, it don't mean the other two are dirt.
Didn't do nothing.
Like we are talking about three GOATs, three artists who have impacted and changed the game.
Come on.
We're talking musically.
Yeah.
Because business-wise is Jay.
Yeah, of course.
You know, when... You know, how many billionaires came from Hove crib? You know what I'm saying? Rihanna.
Come on now.
Ye, Braun, whatever. Business-wise, it's Jay, but we're talking musically. So we're talking musically who has the most offspring, who has impacted.
And if you want to throw somebody else in there besides the three I said too, feel free to do that.
Listen, Lil Wayne.
Ooh.
It's Wayne to me.
Okay.
It's Wayne. Okay. It's Wayne to me. I think Wayne has been the most influential. I think the way even rappers today, the way they respond to Wayne, the way they emulate Wayne, I think it's Lil Wayne. I think these kids, this generation, like, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who didn't want to grow up to be Lil Wayne.
Exactly.
So it's Wayne. I would throw somebody else in that conversation though, because I think he's changed the sound of music. Is T-Pain.
Of course,
I would throw Pain in that conversation. I think music has a distinct path.
So what do you say when I say then? T-Pain came in with the auto-tune, which birthed the Wayne that we have now and the future that we have. So what do we say?
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying Pain is in that conversation. I think Pain, this is gonna sound sacrilege, but you know how we talk about Christ, it's AD and BC.
Yeah.
Pain is it's an AD, it's a before Pain.
Yeah.
Music sounded one way, and after Pain, the world changed. And that's not hip hop, that's not just our culture, that's across genres.
My God.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta give T-Pain his flowers, but you know,
that's real.
Fuck Wayne, dog.
Okay, now I'm with you. I'm up in the air. I'm gonna have to do some more researching myself because that's an argument I gotta come back to my damn self. I've been having that a few times lately, but for me, with that Future guy, see, he's still in the middle of his relevancy.
Yeah.
He's not what he was 10 years ago when he had his 10-year run of dominating, but he's still right up in there. So I don't know. He might do some shit I don't know.
That Turn Your Click Up verse that he just did with Quavo, like,
come on, man.
He caught a body. I can't take nothing away from Future. He can't. I don't know what happened with Russell Wilson. I mean, we know what the deal is, but I'm like, did something new happen? Like we still shooting at Russell Wilson? I don't know. And listen, shout to Future. Everything gonna be all right. I don't know if me, and I'm not necessarily a punk.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson in the gym every day, lifting weights. I mean, this I know he a quarterback. He's not the biggest guy on his team, but this is a goddamn NFL athlete.
Yeah.
And this where we directing our angst? Like, this where we going with it? What if Russell Wilson just flip? I've had enough of this shit. You know, he's such a nice guy. Fuck it. And just go beast mode.
Come on, man. Show up at the Grammys throwing shit. We like, what the hell's going on here?
But shout to Future, because I think the energy on that verse, what Future did on that verse,
that's
was
right.
incredible.
Okay, I want to get back into the.
But Wayne too. Wayne will fuck around and drop. What we up to? Carter 8, Carter 9. I don't know where we up to. The Carter. But Wayne, people be like, all right, Wayne, okay, and he'll drop one of them goddamn Carters on you, and he'd be like, oh shit. Like, you don't never count Lil Wayne out.
Come on now.
Or these feature verse too. The feature runs that Wayne been crazy.
You know, my favorite feature artist is 2 Chainz, okay? When Chainz jumps on that feature, it's never the same ever again, okay? Yeah. I want to get back into the executive part of things, though, too, man. I mean, climbing that ladder and getting there. Executive versus, entry level. Which place is sweeter? And I say that to say this because when I was just talking to Beat King before you came in here, he was like, B, when I was running around in all of those parties with the cucumber before I even got my deal, that was my favorite time in the music industry. He was like, after the millions came in and the deals came in, it wasn't the same anymore. So, I mean, for you, how do you feel? Yeah,
I mean, that go back to this album I'm working on, You Hustling, But Are You Happy?
Okay, then.
The money isn't a cure-all for everything. So I'm currently having a lot of fun right now. But it's a balance. I think it can still be fun at this level when you climb up that ladder. Again, as long as you keep it pure. Yeah. The politics of the industry is gonna make this shit very unenjoyable. Like I'm dealing with certain problems now when certain shit just come across my desk and it'd be like, really, dog? Like, really? Like, if we focused all of our efforts on making a fucking dope record or marketing a record the way, or like we spending time worrying about the wrong shit half the time in this industry because it's all ego. Once you get up there, you're dealing with a lot of egos, a lot of pride, a lot of people who are afraid to admit they wrong or don't want to bend for whatever. I try to circumvent when people have those problems. I try to avoid it to the sense of, hey man, you got to work on yourself. When you finish, get back, and then we can get back to business. But I'm currently enjoying the time that I'm having right now. I think it feels brand new again to me, just like being at this level, doing the things that I'm doing. I'm seeing things for the first time, man. I got my first gold plat, like as an executive. Like,
come on now.
Like, I'm just like, this shit crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so doing things, it's exciting because I'm doing things for the first time again.
Exactly. A man of your integrity, Rob, isn't normally allowed into those positions that you're in. How the hell did you pull that off?
You can't front.
You see what I'm saying?
Like nah, you just can't front like it come in because the results speak for itself. Like we talk about 100 losses, and I've taken my losses, but I've won.
Come on now.
In everything that I've done. You know what I'm saying? Like I've gotten that win. So the results are hard to argue against. You know what I'm saying? I do put my ego in check a lot of times because I feel it's very dangerous when you lead with your ego. But don't get it twisted. I know who the fuck I am.
Come on now.
Like, and I know what I've done, and I know what I'm capable of. So, how I got into there, I think it's the results. It's also like I keep good relationships. I think the secret is at the end of the day, everybody who knows where they stand with me. Like I kind of don't hide it a lot of times. Like we're not upfront or honest with people when we're either very happy with them or very disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of times you have beef with somebody and they don't even know you feel away.
Come on now.
So I'm like, man, let's just address the shit, get the shit out in the open so we can move on. So I think people feel comfortable with me, that they know where they stand, and I think people know my intentions and know what I'm in it for, and they know that I lead with my heart. So, I think that's how you get into these positions. It's the long road, but there's nobody out there, and I stand on this, who could say that I cheated them.
Come on now.
That I stole from them.
Come on.
That I cut their throat or snaked them out their opportunity. Everything I got up until this point, I worked for.
Exactly. What advice do you have for that next Rob coming up? Because at the end of the day, what I like to do with this platform, Rob, is that I want people to understand that you don't have to be the rap star. You don't have to be the athlete. You don't have to be all of the typical prototypes to take part in this music industry and also be impactful, have power, have swag, have fun, still be able to do what the hell you want to do at the same damn time. What advice do you have for anybody that's trying to get into the game, but they don't know? They think that they need to rap first.
Yeah, know yourself, be yourself, like, and really follow with your heart. Like, you know if your heart ain't in the rapping.
Come on,
because it's like how many days a week are you in the studio? How many days a week are you writing? Like how many days a week are you studying this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not supposed to be rapping, like, find the thing that you love. Find the thing. And I know this is controversial about internships and working for free, and I'm not suggesting get your money for sure because we need money to live. But find the thing that you would do for free.
Exactly.
You don't have to tell the world, get your money.
Yeah.
But find the thing that you would do for free and do it to fucking death and become a master at that. And then you just branch out little by little and you grow. But it's not all going to come to you in one day.
Come on,
you know what
man.
I'm saying? It really take years and years and years and years of grinding and nobody noticing and nobody seeing. You have to be consistent with this shit.
Exactly.
In order to be consistent, when the money ain't coming in or when the money is low, and in order to be consistent, you got to really love this shit and really want it. So find the thing that you really love and that you would do for free. If the world is crumbling and aliens was coming to take over this shit, you'd be like, nah, but I gotta get this verse off first,
I gotta get
man.
this last ball.
I gotta get this ball off. Like what's that thing? And go with that, man. Like,
okay. With that being said, too, man, I got another question. When we talk about this time thing, okay, because our ages, they were saying it was the microwave age. Okay,
yeah.
We wanted it as fast as you could cook it in the microwave. Well, this new age of kids coming through this thing, my little cousin just walked in. I told him, I said, hey, bro, you got your internship, man. You might be stuck there for a year or two before anything shakes, sir. Be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, Negro, please. I ain't trying to stay nowhere for a year or two and not getting paid what I want and all this and stuff. But can you just explain to anybody that's watching, too, just the maturing of the wine?
Yeah, like, listen, and nobody wants to get taken advantage of or feeling that they getting taken advantage of. But, you're going to have to take your lumps. Like, anything that you get instantly can be taken away from you instantly.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, I was doing freelance writing. I was writing for The Source. Turn something in, I get a check. Turn something in, I get a check. Turn something in, my check ain't come. All right, cool. They'll get me on the next one. Check ain't come. Check ain't come. I'm a year writing for The Source. That was like my internship. I never did an internship, but I wrote a bunch of shit to The Source where they owe me like $8,000.
Yeah.
And at a time when that $8,000
meant
really,
the world.
Yeah, that was like make or break. Like I had to go to court.
Exactly.
Like all of this shit to try to get my money. I still ain't get my money. But what I'm saying is, I knew, like, I had to make a decision. I said, man, well, am I going to keep writing for the source, knowing that they ain't paying me, knowing that they hoeing the fuck out of me right now? Am I going to keep on, or I'm going to quit? And what I had told myself was, well, this is one of the biggest magazines in the culture. This is that time when the source is at the culture.
Shit.
Okay, I'm not going to tell the world that I'm getting hoed because then if they know that the source ain't paying me, then Double XL will be like, well, fuck, we ain't got to pay him neither. Bob was like, why would we pay him? The source ain't paying him. So nobody need to know that I'm getting hoed.
Yeah.
But this is one of the biggest magazines. Man, let me get used to people seeing my name next to these articles. Let me get more of these bylines so I get to the point where I ain't got to put up with this shit no more.
Come on now.
And you know, so, you know, you got to be strategic with this shit too. Like sometimes, yeah. Like, and I'm not saying that anybody should take abuse. You shouldn't let nobody treat you any type of way. But do the ends justify the means? For me, I was like, well, fuck it. What's more important right now? This money?
Come on.
Or these bylines?
Come on.
Man, let me get these bylines. Let them keep putting me in front of these rappers to interview them. Let me keep building my relationships so I get to the point and I could turn the fucking tables on them.
Come on now. Oh, man, we got so much to talk about, Rob. But, I mean, when you come back down, I mean, we just going to have to do it again. But it's going to probably be debate style when you come back. And I'm going to have some shit for your ass.
I don't hold back for nothing, man. I'm very respectful with my opinions, but I'm going to give you the answer. Like, it was that whole Lil Wayne thing. I'm like, I'm not running from it.
I love that, though.
These guys is all goats.
Exactly.
Let's just recognize that they all goats. So the ones that I pick don't mean they dirt.
Come on now.
But it's Wayne.
I'm with you.
And that's
on
it.
that.
So I'm gonna give you the answer, bro. I ain't afraid of the controversy, but we're gonna speak respectfully.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
How can these folks contact you, man?
I don't know. Right now, too, I'm picking up the phone less and less these days.
Yeah, I feel
it get harder to pick up the phone.
Oh my God.
But I'm on social media at Rob Markman on everything. So whether you're on Twitter or Instagram at Rob Markman, Threads is the new thing. We'll see how long I'll be on that. But I'm there, and then
the podcast, sir.
Yeah. Oh shit. We ain't even talk about That's crazy.
Yeah. Come on.
Shout out to Amazon.
Exactly.
But Amazon Music.
Down. We got to go there.
Amazon Music Rotation Roundtable. Every Wednesday 9 p.m. Eastern. It's me and Speedy Mormon and Gabe P and Nyla Simone and you know we just talk about the biggest hip hop topics every week. So you can find it on Amazon Music Twitch. It's called Rotation Roundtable. I'm having a lot of fun with that show.
Okay, what was it like hooking up with Amazon and just kind of pioneering their whole podcast, you know, situation over there?
It's a dope team, man. That was a team, and I'm used to when we talk about the executive side. Man, I'm talent over there, so they got a whole team that supports me and supports all the talent over there. So I kind of come in and they treat me right and you know, look, man, they treat me right and there'll be green rooms. Like they just let me come in and be talent.
They treat a player right.
Yeah, I don't have to sit in Zoom meetings and help figure things out. I would if they needed me. Yo, y'all need me to do this, let's do this because I'm very involved. But it's dope, man. They put a billboard up with your boy in Times Square and that was crazy. So man, Amazon. Man, shout out to Tim. Shout out to Tim Henshaw, man. Shout out to Jack and Jamie and Lauren and Lauren and Jackie and man, they sure know how to treat a fella. Yeah. But I'm having fun there. That's home team, man. That's like it's a super dope team over there. Shout out to Josh Pease, like Sierra, like that whole team is amazing.
Okay.
Jamaica, like just an amazing group of people, man.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
What's them ats again?
At Rob Markman, it's just ROBMARKMAN, and you know for y'all interested in music and being like, he rap, man. What's this about? It's the same thing on Spotify, on Amazon Music, on Apple Music is my government name.
Well, now I'm gonna be real on that music though, Rob. I mean, the kind of music that you made is the kind of music that we need, sir. Okay, so I mean, if somebody go and listen to it, they gonna get some soul food. Okay, it's in that vein right there, sir. And you know, soul food is, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest album ever made.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm at with it. The Mob, I love him.
I grew up.
Well, Rob, appreciate you, man.
Pete, thank you, man.
I'm here for it, man. Whenever you in the city, pull up on a player. We can do this again.
That's love.
Be High Radio Show. Rob Markman, holla at y'all in a minute, man. We go.
Peace.